The Antwerp diamond heist, often called the heist of the century, remains one of the most audacious robberies in history. In February 2003, a group of professional thieves carried out a meticulously planned operation inside the Antwerp Diamond Center, located in Belgium's famous diamond district. The building was heavily secured, protected by multiple layers of security: infrared heat detectors, Doppler radar, magnetic fields, a seismic sensor, a lock with 100 million possible combinations, and a private security force on duty around the clock. Yet, the thieves bypassed them all. The mastermind was Leonardo Notarbartolo, an Italian career thief who posed as a diamond dealer for years to gain access and trust within the community. He rented office space inside the Diamond Center, allowing him to study security systems and movements without raising suspicion. With careful observation, he and his team crafted a plan that relied not only on technical skill, but also on patience and precision. On the night of February 15th to 16th, 2003, while the city was distracted by a weekend of festivities, the thieves struck. They skillfully disabled cameras, jammed the sensors, and neutralized the alarms. Step by step, they overcame each obstacle until they reached the vault 2 floors underground. Inside were nearly 200 safe deposit boxes filled with diamonds, gold, jewelry, and cash. The haul was estimated to be worth more than $100 million. The thieves loaded their bags with gems and valuables, then disappeared without a trace, leaving behind a scene that baffled investigators. For a brief moment, it seemed like the perfect crime. But mistakes were made. Some evidence was discarded carelessly in the nearby woods, including a half-eaten sandwich that carried Notarbartolo's DNA. This crucial clue linked him directly to the heist. Police eventually tracked down several members of the crew, arresting Notarbartolo and sentencing him to 10 years in prison. Yet, despite these convictions, most of the stolen diamonds and valuables were never recovered. The true scope of what was taken remains a mystery, as does the identity of every person involved. To this day, the Antwerp diamond heist stands as a symbol of criminal genius, blending patience, deception, and technical expertise. It left law enforcement shocked at how such a fortified building could be penetrated and raised questions about security in one of the world's most valuable industries. The stolen fortune has vanished, the diamonds likely dispersed through the black market, and the legend of the heist continues to fascinate. Imagine the vault 2 floors beneath the Antwerp Diamond Center. The room is supposed to be impenetrable, a fortress of steel and technology. For years, jewelers trusted it as the safest place in the world to store their fortunes. But on that cold February night in 2003, it became the stage for one of the boldest robberies ever attempted. Leonardo Notarbartolo and his crew had studied every detail of the building. They knew when guards made their rounds, how the cameras rotated, and even how the lights flickered inside the underground corridor. They rehearsed every movement until they could do it blindfolded. When the night came, they slipped in unnoticed, carrying tools designed for silence, homemade gadgets, insulation tape, and replica keys. Every step was a test. Infrared sensors that could detect body heat were fooled by layers of styrofoam and plastic. Motion detectors were bypassed by careful movements. The magnetic field protecting the vault's steel door was neutralized with a simple piece of metal. One by one, the supposedly unbreakable barriers fell to patience and creativity. When the vault door finally swung open, it revealed rows of deposit boxes stacked floor to ceiling, each one stuffed with treasure. Diamonds sealed in velvet pouches, gold bars glinting under the dim light, necklaces and watches wrapped in satin. The crew worked quickly but methodically, cracking open more than 100 boxes. They filled duffel bags with loot until the weight of their fortune was almost too much to carry. Above ground, the streets of Antwerp slept. Nobody heard the quiet click of locks or the rustle of bags being filled with wealth beyond imagination. By dawn, the thieves were gone. They left behind no alarms, no broken doors, no signs of forced entry, only an empty vault and a mystery. The news spread like wildfire. Reporters called it the heist of the century. Investigators stood inside the gutted vault in disbelief, asking themselves how it was possible that such a fortress had been robbed in silence. The diamond industry panicked, questioning whether their most secure facility was ever truly safe. For weeks, police found nothing. It seemed as though the thieves had vanished with the diamonds forever. But then, deep in the forests outside Antwerp, a farmer discovered discarded trash, black garbage bags filled with receipts, envelopes, videotapes, and food wrappers. Among them was a half-eaten sandwich. Forensic testing revealed DNA that matched Leonardo Notarbartolo. The perfect crime was suddenly cracked open. Notarbartolo was arrested and later confessed to planning the heist, though he claimed he was hired by a mysterious diamond dealer who betrayed him. He insisted the crew took only a fraction of what was inside, suggesting a much larger conspiracy. Authorities never proved that part of his story, and most of the diamonds were never seen again. The crew was eventually caught, tried, and sentenced, but their spoils were gone, likely smuggled into the black market, cut and sold, their origins erased. Today, the missing fortune is estimated at more than $100 million. The Antwerp diamond heist remains legendary not just for the wealth stolen, but for the sheer audacity of it. A robbery carried out with precision, patience, and imagination in the heart of the world's diamond capital. It's a story of how even the most secure fortress can be brought down, not by brute force, but by the mind of a thief who knew how to wait, watch, and strike. Picture this. It's the early morning of February 16, 2003. Security guards arrive for their usual shift at the Antwerp Diamond Center. The building looks untouched, quiet, just another Sunday in the diamond capital of the world. But when they descend 2 floors below ground, the sight that greets them freezes them in disbelief. The vault door is unlocked. Safe deposit boxes are scattered open like broken eggshells. Velvet pouches lie empty, papers and wrappings tossed aside. The treasure that once glistened inside the most secure vault in Antwerp is gone. Police rush to the scene. The questions come fast. How did anyone even get inside? The vault was considered impenetrable. It had seismic alarms to detect drilling, Doppler radar to pick up on motion, infrared sensors to detect body heat, and a lock with 100 million possible combinations. And yet, every single layer of security was bypassed. There was no forced entry, no alarms, no obvious mistakes. Whoever pulled this off, investigators realized, wasn't just a thief. They were professionals. The mastermind was Leonardo Notarbartolo, an Italian thief who had been living in Antwerp for years. On the surface, he appeared to be just another businessman, renting an office inside the Diamond Center and mingling with traders in the district. In reality, he was gathering information, mapping out the routines, studying security flaws, and preparing for the job of a lifetime. Notarbartolo assembled a team of specialists. Each man had a role: a locksmith who could manipulate safes, an electronics expert who knew how to jam security systems, a driver skilled at navigating Antwerp's narrow streets, and muscle to handle the physical work. They weren't amateurs, they were craftsmen, each chosen for precision. The plan took years. They practiced opening locks. They built replicas of the vault door. They timed guard patrols. On the night of the heist, their preparation paid off. Moving silently, they jammed the security cameras, covered heat sensors with styrofoam, and disabled alarms with nothing more than ingenuity. Piece by piece, they dismantled what was thought to be unbreakable. Inside the vault, the thieves worked for hours. They opened over 100 of the 189 deposit boxes. Diamonds, rubies, gold bars, rare jewelry, piece after piece disappeared into their duffel bags. The value of their haul? Over $100 million. By dawn, they vanished without a trace. No alarms had sounded. No one had seen them leave. The only evidence was the empty vault. For a moment, it looked like the perfect crime. But perfection cracked in the smallest way possible: trash. A few days later, a farmer discovered a pile of garbage in the woods near Antwerp. Mixed among the bags were receipts from the Diamond Center, pieces of tape used to cover sensors, and food wrappers. Inside one of the wrappers was a half-eaten salami sandwich. Investigators tested it for DNA and found a match. Leonardo Notarbartolo. He was arrested in Italy and later extradited to Belgium. Police soon rounded up the rest of the crew, but the diamonds were gone. Notarbartolo told authorities he was hired by a shadowy diamond dealer who planned the job, suggesting that the heist was part of a much larger scheme. But investigators never proved this. The diamonds were never recovered. In court, Notarbartolo insisted the loot was worth far less than $100 million, claiming the insurance companies exaggerated the numbers to cover their losses. Some believe him. Others think it was just another layer of deception from a master thief who never revealed the full truth. Even today, the Antwerp diamond heist remains unsolved in many ways. Where did the diamonds go? Was there really a mastermind behind Notarbartolo pulling the strings? Or was it simply the boldest robbery of a crew of skilled thieves who knew the value of patience? The legend lives on because of what wasn't found, the missing fortune that may still be hidden, broken apart, and scattered across the black market. And perhaps the most haunting part? The thieves prove that no system, no matter how secure, is ever truly unbreakable. The city of Antwerp still wakes up to the memory of that February morning in 2003 when the vault at the Diamond Center was discovered emptied. A place considered untouchable, where billions had passed through in trust, reduced to scattered velvet pouches and broken deposit boxes. Leonardo Notarbartolo had walked those halls for years, wearing the mask of a diamond broker, earning nods from guards and smiles from traders. No one suspected that every visit, every casual glance, was part of a blueprint. He was studying habits, watching the way guards moved, memorizing the hum of cameras and the timing of patrols. His office inside the building gave him the perfect cover to walk among the very people he would one day rob. The vault itself was more legend than steel. 2 floors below ground, buried behind a door that seemed impossible to open, it stood wrapped in technology designed to catch the slightest mistake. Heat sensors ready to scream at a flicker of warmth. Seismic alarms waiting to detect a vibration. Cameras that never slept. Yet each layer, studied carefully, had a weakness. And weakness was all the crew needed. The night of the heist stretched long and silent. Outside, the city sang with carnival laughter, fireworks bursting in the distance, while beneath it the thieves moved like shadows. The vault's defenses, one by one, fell quietly. A strip of tape muted a sensor. A handmade key mimicked the real thing. Aluminum tricked the magnetic field. What was meant to be a fortress turned into an unlocked door. The vault opened, and what lay inside was dazzling. Rows of safety deposit boxes, treasures hidden in the dark. The crew set to work, gloves steady, tools whispering against steel. One box after another surrendered diamonds, gold, necklaces, watches. Hours passed in the silence of wealth being stolen piece by piece, until duffel bags sagged under the weight of a fortune. When morning came, the crew was gone. No alarms had rung, no cameras had caught them, no guards had noticed a thing. The only evidence was absence, the emptiness of the vault. The world called it the heist of the century. The industry trembled, questioning if any vault could ever be trusted again. Police scoured Antwerp, but the trail was invisible, the thieves already ghosts. And then the mistake appeared, not in the vault, but in the woods. Black trash bags discarded, stuffed with wrappers, papers, and tape. And among them, a sandwich left unfinished, carrying DNA that pointed directly to Leonardo Notarbartolo. The rest came quickly after that. Notarbartolo, dragged into the spotlight he once avoided. His crew rounded up, each man tied to the job. Trials followed, sentences handed down, but the treasure was gone. The diamonds, worth tens of millions, maybe hundreds, never resurfaced. Notarbartolo told a story from his cell, one that hinted at betrayal. He claimed he had been hired by a powerful diamond merchant, that the robbery was never truly his. He said the haul wasn't $100 million, that the truth had been twisted by insurance companies hungry to cover their losses. Perhaps it was another lie from a master of deception. Perhaps not. What remains certain is this: the Antwerp diamond heist tore open a vault the world thought was unbreakable, and the fortune stolen that night slipped into the shadows, never to be seen again. The diamonds of Antwerp are still out there, scattered, untraceable, perhaps glittering quietly in the hands of strangers who have no idea of the night they disappeared. The air inside the Antwerp Diamond Center felt stale on that February morning when guards pushed open the vault door and saw the silence of destruction. Hundreds of safe deposit boxes had been pried apart, velvet bags ripped open, glittering stones and gold once resting neatly now gone. The vault, the pride of Antwerp's diamond district, stood violated. Leonardo Notarbartolo was already far from the scene, a man who had lived among his victims for years, shaking their hands, sipping coffee with them, listening to their stories of trade and fortune. Every meeting was part of the act. Every smile was camouflage. He knew the building as if it were his own home. He knew the sounds of its locks, the pulse of its cameras, the blind spots of its security. His crew moved like engineers of silence. They packed with them simple tools and homemade tricks. Nothing explosive, nothing loud. Just tape, wires, bits of foil, and patience. In the world above, carnival music floated across Antwerp streets. Beneath, in the vault, A quiet performance was unfolding, each man playing his role without a word. The cameras blinked but saw nothing. The heat sensors searched but felt nothing. The magnetic field hummed but did not alarm. A vault that promised invincibility had been turned into a hollow chest. Hours slipped by as bags filled with diamonds, gold, and jewelry, riches that had belonged to hundreds of traders who trusted steel and concrete more than they trusted men. When the thieves left, they left as ghosts. No alarms echoed. No broken locks told a story. The vault door closed again, holding only emptiness. It looked untouched until the guards discovered the truth. Shock spread through Antwerp's diamond district. Panic clutched merchants who had always believed they were safe behind walls of technology. Police searched in disbelief. Experts retraced the security systems, but the men had vanished into the city like smoke. The mistake was waiting in the woods. Black bags tossed into trees, filled with wrappers, papers, remnants of preparation. A sandwich half-eaten, careless, ordinary, yet extraordinary because inside it was the DNA that would shatter the illusion of the perfect crime. The DNA of Leonardo Notarbartolo. He was pulled from the shadows, questioned, tried, and locked away. The others soon followed. But the diamonds were gone, swallowed by the black market, cut into pieces, scattered into the hands of buyers who would never know their origins. Notarbartolo spoke of betrayal, insisting he was just a pawn for a hidden diamond dealer who orchestrated the crime. He spoke of false numbers, that the loss was nowhere near 100 million, that insurance companies had twisted the story for their own gain. His words blurred the line between confession and manipulation. The diamonds never returned. The Antwerp diamond heist remained a legend, told in whispers across the industry, a reminder that no vault is truly unbreakable, that patience can defeat technology, that the most dangerous weapon a thief carries is time. And still, somewhere, the gems of Antwerp may glimmer in secret, their brilliance dimmed by the shadows of a night when a fortress fell silent. The vault had been the pride of Antwerp, advertised as one of the most secure locations on the planet. 2 floors underground, hidden behind steel and concrete, shielded by a network of alarms that seemed flawless. Guards trusted it. Jewelers trusted it. The entire district trusted it. But trust turned to disbelief when those guards opened the door and found silence where wealth once sparkled. The thieves had worked with patience that bordered on obsession. Leonardo Notarbartolo had lived years preparing for that single night. He walked the district like a businessman, slipping through conversations, shaking hands, letting people believe he belonged. All the while, he was recording mental notes, collecting details, building the map of a vault that others thought impossible to reach. Inside the vault on that February night, the atmosphere must have been thick with tension. The crew knew a single mistake could mean alarms, armed guards, prison. Yet their movements stayed controlled. Cameras blinded with tape. Heat sensors fooled by styrofoam shields. Magnetic locks tricked by nothing more than aluminum foil. Barriers that had cost millions to design fell to tricks costing pennies. Hours passed in that underground chamber. Each box pried open told a new story. Family heirlooms stored in secrecy, diamonds waiting for trade, gold that had traveled continents to end up here. The thieves stripped them of value in silence, filling duffel bags until the weight pressed against their shoulders. By dawn, Antwerp was waking up, the streets filled with music from carnival celebrations, unaware of the crime below. The crew melted back into the city. When the vault was discovered empty, chaos swept the diamond world. Merchants poured into the district in disbelief. News outlets swarmed the story. $100 million gone overnight, stolen from what was supposed to be untouchable. Police combed Antwerp, chasing shadows. Experts studied the vault, baffled at how every alarm had been silenced. It looked like perfection, too perfect. For weeks, investigators had nothing but questions. And then a farmer stumbled upon bags of trash in the forest. The trash told a story. Envelopes, videotapes, pieces of foil and tape, tools of silence abandoned too soon. And in that trash, the sandwich. A careless bite left behind, an ordinary piece of food that carried extraordinary proof. DNA that pointed to Leonardo Notarbartolo. His arrest shattered the illusion. The mastermind was unmasked, dragged from the life he had built among the very people he had deceived. Soon his crew was caught too. The courtroom became the stage for a story that stunned the world. He spoke of betrayal, of a secret diamond dealer who had orchestrated everything. He spoke of numbers exaggerated, of a heist worth far less than reported. His words painted him as both mastermind and pawn, but the diamonds remained missing. The mystery grew. Where did the gems go? Were they smuggled piece by piece into the black market? Were they hidden away in vaults even more secret than the one they were stolen from? Or was there truth in his claim of a powerful figure in the shadows who had erased the evidence? The Antwerp diamond heist lives on not because of what was proven, but because of what never was. A vault once considered unbreakable was shown to be fragile. A man who posed as a neighbor revealed himself as a thief. And a fortune worth millions disappeared without leaving a trace. The diamonds remained ghosts. Silent, glittering echoes of a night when patience and precision defeated steel and technology. Somewhere in the world, they are still out there, glinting in secret, their brilliance hidden in plain sight, their story etched forever as the heist of the century. The diamond district of Antwerp has always thrived on secrecy. Narrow streets packed with discreet offices, merchants moving with briefcases chained to their wrists, deals worth millions sealed with a handshake. For centuries, it had been the beating heart of the global diamond trade. Security was everything. Trust was everything. That trust shattered in February 2003. The vault inside the Antwerp Diamond Center had been a selling point for the entire building. It was marketed as the safest place in the world for stones that were small enough to fit in a pocket but valuable enough to build empires. Jewelers would walk down 2 levels beneath the street, step through armored doors, and place their fortunes inside deposit boxes lined in neat rows. They would leave knowing layers of technology stood guard, cameras that never blinked, sensors that felt for heat, detectors that listened for vibration, field of magnetism that pulsed invisibly in the air. Each system built confidence that their wealth would always remain untouched. But technology is only as strong as the people who build it. And people are only as strong as their imagination. Leonardo Notarbartolo had the imagination to see weakness where others saw perfection. He had been a thief since youth, a man whose instincts were sharpened in the streets of Italy. When he arrived in Antwerp, he played a long game. He dressed like a broker, carried himself like a merchant, and rented an office to gain his own badge of legitimacy inside the Diamond Center. Every day he studied. Every week he grew more invisible. He built a crew who matched his precision. The locksmith who could defeat safes without leaving scars. The alarm specialist who understood signals like a second language. The man whose job was only to carry weight. They trained in shadows, practicing with replicas, memorizing every step. The vault became less of a mystery and more of a puzzle they could already solve. The night of the heist carried a strange irony. Above ground, Antwerp was alive with celebration. Dancers, music, fireworks, people pouring into the streets for carnival. Below ground, inside the Diamond Center, another kind of performance was unfolding. The thieves slipped past cameras, applied tape in silence, sprayed sensors until they went blind, layered foil against magnets to trick the system. Every move was rehearsed, every detail tested. Technology worth millions fell to tools worth pennies. The vault opened. The silence inside was broken only by the click of metal and the soft rasp of bags filling with fortune. Diamonds that had been mined in Africa, cut in India, sold in Europe, all funneled into those deposit boxes, and now all funneled into duffel bags carried by men who knew exactly what they were taking. Gold bars stacked like bricks of fire. Watches that glittered in the dim light. Necklaces wrapped in satin. They worked for hours without interruption, until their shoulders bent under the weight of wealth. When morning came, the crew melted into the city. The vault door closed behind them as if it had never been opened. The guards walked in hours later, expecting routine, and instead found chaos. What was once a chamber of trust had become a graveyard of empty boxes. The investigation stunned police. No alarms triggered, no forced entry, no broken vault door. It seemed impossible. The press called it the heist of the century. Diamond dealers panicked. Insurers braced for ruin. Everyone wanted answers, but none were found. The thieves had left nothing behind. Nothing except trash. A farmer outside Antwerp noticed bags dumped in the woods. Inside, police discovered the forgotten fingerprints of the operation, tape used to block sensors, envelopes once filled with diamonds, pieces of foil, scraps of preparation. And then the sandwich, ordinary bread and salami, bitten once, twice, then discarded. Forensics swabbed it and pulled a name from its crumbs, Leonardo Notarbartolo. Arrests followed. The mastermind caught, his crew rounded up. Trials filled with speculation and disbelief. Yet the diamonds were gone. Authorities never recovered them, not one. Notar Bartolo claimed the truth was twisted, that the haul was worth far less than reported, that insurance companies inflated the loss. He hinted at betrayal, saying he had been hired by a powerful dealer who vanished with the real fortune. To this day, no one knows where the gems are. Some say they were broken apart, scattered across the black market, sold in pieces that could never be traced. Others believe they were hidden in private collections, passed secretly from hand to hand, glittering unseen. What is certain is that the Antwerp diamond heist proved no vault is untouchable. It showed that patience, knowledge, and imagination could break what steel and concrete promised to protect. The story endures because the diamonds remain missing, their fate unknown, their brilliance buried in mystery. And somewhere, in the quiet shadows of the world's trade, those stones may still gleam, reminders of the night when a fortress fell without a sound. The Antwerp Diamond Center had been built on reputation. Reputation that its vault was unbreakable, that its walls and doors were thicker than fear itself. Every jeweler in the district relied on it, walking past the guards and cameras with confidence that what they locked away would be safe forever. That reputation collapsed in a single night. The thieves left behind a kind of silence that felt heavier than the missing treasure. Merchants stormed into the district when the news spread, their faces pale, their voices sharp, demanding answers that no one could give. The vault was supposed to be absolute. If it could fall, then nothing in Antwerp was safe. Trust, more than diamonds, was shattered that day. For the investigators, the crime scene was a riddle. The vault door hadn't been forced. The alarms hadn't screamed. The sensors hadn't blinked. All the expensive defenses stood untouched. Yet inside, box after box had been pried open. It was as though ghosts had walked through steel. The ghosts had names. Leonardo Notar Bartolo had woven himself into the district's fabric like a thread no one noticed. He was always there, always smiling, always professional. No one questioned his presence. And behind him stood a team that operated like surgeons. Men who knew that precision wasn't about speed, it was about control. Every move in that vault was measured. Every box opened with care. The image of them that night is almost cinematic. Figures bent in silence, gloved hands pulling diamonds from satin pouches, watches lifted from their cradles, gold stacked into bags that grew heavier with each passing hour. No words spoken. No mistakes made. Just the sound of wealth being stolen in the quietest way possible. By the time the vault was discovered, the crew was gone. Their getaway left no trail, no cameras, no alarms, no witnesses. The city woke up to a crime story that didn't make sense. Newspapers splashed headlines calling it the heist of the century. Experts wondered aloud how such a place could be breached without force. Jewelers whispered in fear about who might be next. And then came the forest. A farmer walking his land stumbled across black plastic bags dumped among the trees. Inside lay the pieces of a puzzle, envelopes from the Diamond Center, video surveillance tapes, scraps of tape and foil. Every item whispered of planning, of preparation, of the night that had undone Antwerp's pride. But it was something smaller, almost laughable, that cracked the mystery wide open, a sandwich half-eaten, carrying the DNA of the man who thought he had left no trace. That single mistake undid years of planning. Leonardo Notar Bartolo was pulled into the light, and his story began to unravel. The trial painted him as the mastermind, but he spoke of betrayal, hinting at invisible figures who had orchestrated the job, dealers with power and money who had left him to face the consequences. He claimed the value stolen was far less than the headlines screamed. He said the truth had been twisted to protect insurance companies and reputations. Whether he lied or revealed pieces of a deeper conspiracy, no one could prove. The diamonds had already vanished into the black market. Cut, sold, scattered. Their origins erased forever. A stone that once glittered in Antwerp might now rest on the finger of someone who has no idea it was born from the most audacious heist of the century. The vault has long since been repaired. Guards still stand watch in Antwerp. But the scar remains. A reminder that technology cannot outwit human patience. That a man willing to wait, to study, to strike with precision, can turn a fortress into an open door. The Antwerp diamond heist remains unsolved in spirit because its greatest mystery was never answered, not who did it, but where the diamonds are. They linger in the imagination like ghosts, scattered across the world, glowing faintly with a memory of the night they were stolen. The Antwerp Diamond Center reopened its doors after the heist, but the atmosphere was forever changed. Guards walked with sharper eyes, cameras were upgraded, and vaults reinforced, but a shadow hung over every transaction. Merchants no longer moved with complete confidence. Every handshake carried the silent question, could someone like Notar Bartolo strike again? Investigators pored over every detail of the night. They reconstructed movements, replayed security footage, analyzed alarm systems, but the truth remained elusive. Each piece of evidence told a story of precision, patience, and patience honed into obsession. The thieves had not rushed. They had not been careless. The vault's defenses had been dismantled without a single alarm triggered. It was almost impossible to comprehend. Merchants and employees replayed memories of Notar Bartolo. His calm demeanor, his businesslike manners, his ease at blending in. No one could have suspected him. Every meeting he attended, every smile he gave, was a mask hiding months of planning. The more they remembered, the more unnerving it became. A man who appeared ordinary had outsmarted one of the most secure facilities in the world. The forest where the discarded trash was found became a critical turning point. Envelopes, videotapes, scraps of tape and foil, all discarded as if the men had believed they were invincible. Among them, the half-eaten sandwich that carried DNA, a mundane object that ended the illusion of perfection. Notar Bartolo and his crew were arrested. Trials followed. The world learned their names, but not the fate of the diamonds. Even behind bars, Notar Bartolo's story held layers of ambiguity. He spoke of betrayal, hinted at powerful figures orchestrating events from the shadows, and claimed the value stolen was far less than reported. Whether his words were truth, manipulation, or both, no one could be certain. The diamonds had disappeared, vanishing into the black market, melted, recut, and dispersed into unknown hands. The Antwerp diamond heist became more than a crime. It became legend. Not for the violence or the chase, but for the brilliance of its execution. The heist was a demonstration of human ingenuity, patience, and audacity, a crime carried out not with force, but with calculation. Merchants still whisper about it in the streets of Antwerp. Investors still reference it as a cautionary tale. And the diamonds? Somewhere, they continue their journey, invisible to the public eye, glittering in secrecy. Their presence a reminder that even the most secure vaults cannot protect against a mind willing to wait, watch, and strike with precision. The Antwerp diamond heist is remembered not for what was taken, but for the way it exposed the limits of trust, security, and human expectation. It is the heist of the century, a story of vanished fortune, a perfect crime undone only by a careless sandwich. Somewhere in the world, the diamonds still gleam. The vault remains a monument to human ingenuity, both for those who built it and for those who conquered it. Somewhere out there, someone is still wearing the shadows of Antwerp. The Antwerp Diamond Center became a symbol, not just of wealth, but of vulnerability. The streets of the Diamond District, once buzzing with confidence, carried a hushed tension. Jewelers glanced at one another, eyes shadowed by memory. Every delivery, every transaction now carried the weight of February 16, 2003. A day when trust was shattered, when patience and cunning had triumphed over steel and technology. Investigators continued to retrace the steps of the thieves. They mapped security systems, rebuilt the vault's layers in painstaking detail, tested every conceivable angle of attack. And still, the audacity of the heist astonished them. Every sensor bypassed without triggering alarms. Every lock defeated without a scratch. Every step planned, executed, and vanished like smoke. The meticulousness of it suggested more than skill. It suggested obsession. The crew, meanwhile, had lived in silence. Months of preparation, surveillance, and practice had forged them into a machine of precision. Leonardo Notar Bartolo had orchestrated it all, every detail accounted for. He had watched guards, memorized camera rotations, timed patrols, and mapped every inch of the vault. The heist was not a gamble. It was a calculation. The night of the robbery was an eerie contrast to the chaos above. Antwerp's streets echoed with celebration, music, and fireworks, unaware of the quiet unfolding below. The vault, 2 floors underground, had been stripped of its treasures. Diamonds, gold, watches, and jewelry filled duffel bags, silent and methodical, each item collected without haste, without error. When they left, the vault appeared untouched, as though the valuables had evaporated. The first clue that would crack the case came not from brilliance, but from carelessness. Black trash bags dumped in a forest near Antwerp revealed scraps of the crew's preparation: envelopes, videotapes, foil tape, and among them, a half-eaten sandwich carrying Notarbartolo's DNA. That single, mundane mistake unraveled the illusion of perfection. Arrests followed. Trials were held. Details emerged of the crew, the planning, the execution. Yet the diamonds were gone. They had vanished into the black market, perhaps melted, recut, and scattered into private collections. Their origins lost to time, their brilliance unseen by anyone aware of their theft. The psychological weight of the heist lingered over the diamond district. Merchants questioned who they could trust. Security protocols were rewritten. Vaults reinforced. Cameras upgraded. But the knowledge remained. No system is foolproof. No wall impenetrable when patience and intelligence are applied with precision. Notarbartolo's narrative added layers of intrigue. He claimed betrayal, spoke of hidden figures orchestrating events from afar, and insisted that the stolen value was exaggerated by insurers. His words blurred the line between truth and deception, adding to the mystique of the crime. The Antwerp diamond heist is remembered not just as a crime, but as a lesson that human cunning can outmatch technology, that patience can overcome fortification, and that even the smallest misstep, a forgotten sandwich, can undo perfection. The diamonds remain unseen, invisible, their journey continuing somewhere in the shadows. Their brilliance, once concentrated in the vault of Antwerp, now glimmers quietly across the world, a testament to the night when a fortress fell silently and a perfect crime etched itself into history. The city of Antwerp moved on, but the shadow of the heist never left the diamond district. Streets that had once been filled with the quiet confidence of merchants now carried whispers of disbelief and fear. Conversations about business were often interrupted by glances toward the diamond center, reminders that even the strongest vault could be defeated. Investigators never stopped examining the details. They reconstructed the vault's defenses, testing every sensor, every alarm, every lock. They retraced the thieves' steps, trying to understand how a plan so meticulously executed could leave almost no trace. Every attempt to simulate the heist failed. Every simulation highlighted the brilliance of the original crew. It was more than a theft. It was a demonstration of precision, patience, and timing that bordered on obsession. The crew had been trained to perfection. Each member had a role, each movement rehearsed until it became instinct. Notarbartolo had orchestrated the operation with careful observation, studying camera patterns, memorizing guard routines, mapping out the vault's layout. Every element of the heist had been planned, every obstacle anticipated. Above ground, the city celebrated, unaware of the silent ballet below. Fireworks lit the sky while inside. Duffel bags filled quietly with diamonds, gold, and jewelry. No alarm screamed, no cameras recorded, no guard noticed. Hours of labor were completed in near-perfect silence. By dawn, the vault was empty, and the crew had vanished into the city without a trace. The investigation seemed to hit a wall until a simple discovery in the forest changed everything. Black garbage bags, carelessly discarded, contained the remnants of the operation: envelopes, videotapes, strips of foil, tape, and among them, a half-eaten sandwich, ordinary in appearance, extraordinary in consequence. DNA testing confirmed the identity of Leonardo Notarbartolo, unmasking the mastermind behind the audacious heist. Arrests followed, and trials revealed the scope of the plan, the precision, the patience. Yet the diamonds remained missing. Their fate was a mystery, melted, cut, sold, or hidden in private collections, leaving only speculation behind. Notarbartolo claimed he had been betrayed, that a shadowy figure orchestrated the operation, and that the value of the stolen goods had been exaggerated. Whether truth or deception, the diamonds had disappeared, and the story of their final destination remained untold. The heist reshaped the diamond industry. Security protocols were rewritten. Vaults were reinforced. Cameras were upgraded. Guards patrolled with renewed vigilance. And yet, the lesson remained. No system is perfect. No fortress impenetrable when intelligence, patience, and audacity are applied with skill. The Antwerp diamond heist endures as more than a robbery. It is a story of human ingenuity, a testament to meticulous planning, and a reminder that even the most trusted walls can fall. Diamonds that once sparkled behind the vault steel now drift somewhere in the world, invisible, their brilliance a silent echo of a night when a perfect crime unfolded, leaving behind only mystery, legend, and the faint glimmer of what once was. The vault remains a monument to both security and vulnerability, and the diamonds, wherever they are, continue their journey through history, forever tied to the audacity, patience, and brilliance of the men who stole them. And that's the story of the Antwerp diamond heist, one of the most audacious crimes in history. A heist that shocked the world and left a fortune forever lost in the shadows. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the greatest robberies of all time, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more true crime stories and fascinating mysteries. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next story. Stay curious, stay safe, and keep exploring the mysteries of the world.